Namaste. The divine in me greets the divine in you. I'm Shridika Pillai and you are watching your ultimate Hindu magazine program, Sadhana, the Inward Path, right here on SABC3. Today we celebrate the divine consciousness that restores harmony and balance within and around us. With the excitement of International Yoga Day still in the air, we visit Diego Baldi, a young yoga instructor who is also passionate about Ayurvedic cooking. There is more yoga after that with Kugan and some reflection through Lokeshji and the Ramayan. Yoga itself is a physical, mental and spiritual practice that originated in India about 6,000 years ago. Throughout the ages, yoga has evolved and developed and become very much a part of the Western society too. We recently met Diego Baldi, a fascinating young Westerner who has completely embraced Eastern traditions, teaching us a thing or two about our own ancient practices.
I've come from a very traditional South African home. My father's from Italy, so I haven't been exposed to the yoga only over the last 8 years, and the introduction came through my sister. In the time of growing up at school, she would attend Iyengar yoga practices, and at the age of 16 she actually was inspired to become a vegetarian and take on the studies of yoga. So in that way my sister Bianca had introduced me to the practice of yoga. The training and the journey of yoga, I think, is still unfolding, and it's a beautiful process of opening up to be aware in different ways. And the training, it started in South Africa, so I've got many different teachers. I think for clarity, Iyengar yoga for me, in terms of teaching the postures, is the most accessible and accommodating discipline. So when we work in this way, I've studied most recently with the Iyengars, and Guruji Iyengar this year actually is a centenary celebration, and his work in terms of light on yoga, his publication of all the practices has been around for 50 years. So it's very solid and very stable and authentic, the traditions that he brings. On the other aspect, in terms of the mental aspects, although Iyengar yoga encompasses meditation and the mind within the practice of postures and pranayama, the other practice that I've been exposed to very early in my yoga pathway was Kundalini yoga, and it's also a very specific discipline that's taught by a master called Yogi Bhajan, and it gives also ways and means, because Kundalini and yoga is a big discipline. It has a lot of potentials, it has a lot of benefit, but it has to be approached in a very specific way, because yoga has a physical value and benefit, but also there's a lot of mental, emotional, spiritual awareness that we can develop. Maharishi Patanjali, I think, is very important in terms of understanding yoga, and his appearance to the world and humanity was specifically for the purpose of teaching yoga. So in the beginning there was 7 main branches of yoga, and over time they started to diversify and maybe move away from the essence. So Patanjali came 500 BC, it's more of a modern context in the terms of the Vedas and the yoga tradition. But he came with a very clear framework. How do we, as regular householders and people with jobs and families, how do we gain the benefit of a yoga practice, a very solid sadhana? Sometimes our awareness is scattered, our mind is outside of our body and outside of the moment, and we've got many different things that are at play. So yoga is trying to get us back to feeling the body, and the process of awakening the body to engage and to align and to open up the organs, open up the physical body, is supported by the props. So sometimes we don't have the knowledge of how do we firm up our legs, how do we stand strong, how do we get a full extension of your chest and your lungs. So the props allow us that insight. so that it gives us that muscle memory, it gives us that awareness, so that when we do the postures without the props, the body has learned in a very supportive way. Being in India, just the innate spirituality and the lifestyle which people through the Vedic culture has established, such a beautiful, peaceful way of living. So being able to be exposed to Gita and Iyengar's teachings in India was something very special. And then after that, I was fortunate enough to travel again to India the year following for a month intensive. So I was able to spend a 4 weeks process of actually learning the yoga at the institute, which was very special. I've also had the opportunity to do advanced training in the Himalayas. I did some studies with Ayurveda and also the Samkhya philosophy, the yogic philosophy. And I think it's very important to understand that context. Although when we're teaching, a lot of it is understanding yoga through the body, but having that awareness and being able to go to India to imbibe that knowledge was an experience of a lifetime. Okay, we'll just demonstrate for a moment. I'll show you the action so that we can see and we can watch just for a moment. So the idea is to get the heart in a position where it's inverted and it's restful. So even this is a very subtle inversion. This is one of the first inverted postures after the forward bends that we start to learn. So you come down slowly so you can see your shoulders are actually resting and your back of your neck is very comfortable. So in this position you can actually see your heart is doing a handstand. We get the heart elevated. It's actually a little bit above the head. So in this way there's this similar effect of inverting the body. And you'll straighten the legs to support your spine, to be strong. And the effect of this posture is you lie supine and helps the organs just to settle and relax. And through the movement of blood to the heart and to the head, you find a good balance for the glands and a good balance for the nervous system. So it's very relaxing, and then to come out we'll slowly go back. Having learned and still learning and teaching yoga, it's become my full-time dedication and devotion, and the Yoga Shala has been the space. So Shala is a space in which we can come out of the rat race and we can find a quiet place where we can sit and we can be peaceful, we can find a sense of ease within ourselves. So this space was actually created by Satish Singh as a sanctuary, as a Shala for people to come into practice. And it's been a great space. I mean, it's completely conducive for relaxation, meditation, and the Durban Yoga Shala is a gem within the city. So the essence of yoga is to unite humanity. So I think it's important that people understand the true essence of what yoga is about. And nowadays we see a lot of yoga through the physical expression. So it is important to understand the postures, but sometimes it's misperceived as to what is actually yoga. And yoga is for everybody to feel comfortable and to feel stable in their body. So I think Guruji Iyengar, in terms of his approach to making the postures accessible to everybody, whether you're elderly or young, whether you have ailments or conditions, there's a way and means that we can all progress. Yoga is universal. It's available for everybody to benefit from.